Bishop Miege and St. Thomas Aquinas. Tonight, the rubber game in the EKL and the final game before substates. It's the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week next. Welcome to St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Overland Park as tonight Metro Sports presents the boys EKL basketball matchup between two Catholic school rivals as Bishop Miege at 11-8 takes on St. Thomas Aquinas at 8-11. Hi everybody, Kevin Wyke along with Doug Elston. Welcome to the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week here on Metro Sports. Let's take a look at the boys EKL standings coming into play tonight. And it's a foregone conclusion as the champions for the league this year, Blue Valley North, winners of 16 straight. And they're going for the perfect EKL record as they are 9-0 at this point. Miege and St. Thomas Aquinas tonight playing for seeding in their upcoming sub-state, which will be next week. Let's talk players here, Doug. Everybody argues about who's the best player in Kansas City. Is it Marcus Walker? A guy that has to be included as far as one of the finalists for the Durrento Award, Isaac Miles of Bishop Miege.
Well, he's definitely one of the best players in the city, no question. He's playing out of position and just doing fine, thank you. Isaac Miles is getting about 21 points a game, plays very good defense, an exceptional athlete. Also posts 6 assists and 4 rebounds a game. He's a consummate team player.
And on the other side, it's senior night for St. Thomas Aquinas, and we honor one of their top seniors, Quentin Tata.
Quentin Tata does a lot of the dirty work at 6'5". He's able to shoot outside. He's averaging 13 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. He's a very good leader for the Saints on the floor. Should be a good one here in boys EKL basketball. Rick Zeke and the Miege Stags on the road to take on St. Thomas Aquinas. Our lineups and opening tip-off next on the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week.
The High School Game of the Week is brought to you by Hy-Vee and their 20 Kansas City area employee-owned Hy-Vee locations. Farmers Insurance and their Kansas City Metro agents and district managers. Remember, farmers get you back where you belong. KC Bobcat. In Grandview, Blue Springs, Olathe, and Platte City. And by Speedway Auto Group. Visit us at speedwayautogroup.com.
Back here at St. Thomas Aquinas High School for senior night. And before we get started, we'll have the introduction of the seniors and their parents. And of course, there's Mark Huppy, the former coach. And he's shaking hands with his son, Drew, 6'1" senior, averages 8 points per game. Of course, his older brother, Mark, plays for UMKC. And his father currently is a principal at St. Anne's Elementary School. So we have 3 seniors to introduce tonight. It'll be Jeff Durkin coming out as well, and the coach's son, Brendan Riley, as St. Thomas Aquinas taking on Bishop Miege for a great crowd here in attendance. Everybody all dressed up and ready to go for this Catholic school rivalry. And here comes Jeff Durkin out with his family.
He has been a 3-sport athlete every year of his high school career. His favorite basketball memory thus far is traveling to New York this summer with the whole team. He'd like to thank his family, friends, and coaches for their support and guidance throughout the years. Jeff hopes to play football in college and major in business. Jeff Durkin.
There's a nice sign in the stands for number 12, Jeff Durkin. And here is Q Tata as the fans rain down the Q's from the crowd.
Q's parents could not be here tonight, so he's being escorted by his 2 brothers, Nick and Romaine, and his grandmother. Q would like to thank the other
His older brother also coached at Avila.
For being really sweet.
Got a number of guys that are coaches' sons. Brother Nick is out there with him, coached at Avila. Of course, Brendan Riley is the coach's son. Drew Huppy is a coach's son, and we'll also see Jordan Allison. There's a snapshot that's posted on the wall here. There they are as youngsters and all grown up now, getting ready to graduate coming up in May. And here comes Brendan Riley, the coach's son. Outstanding football linebacker.
He thanks his family and friends for all of their
Comes in,
support.
plays
He especially thanks
2 to 3 minute stretches, and
all of his games.
just seems to enliven this team with his energy. They call him the Energizer Bunny.
For all his work in keeping him healthy.
Senior night,
His senior teammates for
honoring
10
Jeff
years of
Dierking,
great memories.
Quentin Tata, and Brendan Riley.
Kansas, Brendan Riley. And those are our 4 seniors we say goodbye to tonight. Please remain standing for our prayer and national anthem to be sung by
Right now,
Nick Benedict and Nikki
we will have the
Slavin.
prayer and national anthem upcoming on the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week.
Lord, thank you for this opportunity to gather in a spirit of goodwill and mutual respect. As we begin this game, we are mindful of many blessings you have given us. We praise you and thank you for your constant presence in our lives. Bless these athletes, their families, their friends in their schools who have come together for this competition. Protect them from injury and inspire them with an attitude of fair play. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Here at St. Thomas Aquinas High School. Kevin White, Doug Elston with you on the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week. Taking a look at our starting lineups for this boys EKL matchup. For the visitors, the guy that became eligible at semester, a transfer from O'Hara, James Lampone. Paul Perini, leading rebounder on the team. He's averaging 5 caroms per game. Manny Medina also on the front line. And a backcourt of Isaac Miles averaging 21 points per game. And Chris Combs, no slouch himself, only a sophomore with a lot of upside, averaging 13 points per game. For the Saints of St. Thomas Aquinas, it'll be all seniors on senior night except for one. That's Jacob Coopersmith, a 6'2 junior who will start at a forward slot. On the front line, Q Tata and Jeff Dierking, and a backcourt of Brendan Riley and Drew Huppy. And there you take a look at Isaac Miles, Doug, and he's had to change his game this year. Dominic Johnson, before the season, transferred back to his old school, Lincoln Prep. His father played there. He wanted to play with those guys there, and they're having a very successful season. But thus, the point guard slot was vacated. Miles has had to be the point guard. He's had to be the scoring guard. They've asked a lot of this young man, and he's pretty much delivered.
Oh, he definitely has delivered, and it's been a difficult transition for him to a certain degree with Dominic Johnson. The natural position for Isaac is a 2 guard, but Dominic gone. He's probably going to play a point guard position or a combo role in college anyhow, so this is a very good experience for Isaac. And like you said, he has definitely produced, and he's getting 6 assists a game as well. And one of the big culprits of those, the recipients of all those assists, is Chris Combs from the outside, and Chris Combs is definitely taking advantage of that as well.
Rick Zeke, head coach of the Bishop Miege Stags in his 9th season, led his team to state 7 straight years. Last year they were the state runners-up to Topeka Highland Park. Record of 157 and 56. defensive number tonight will be Sean Riley, 49 years old. In his third season at St. Thomas Aquinas. He's also been a head coach at Shawnee Mission North for 8 years, a former Mill Valley AD. His team at 8-11, 2-7 in the league. But they have beaten Miege here in the St. Thomas Aquinas tournament. As you take back a month back in your calendar, and you see 61-54 Aquinas over Miege, but then Miege beat St. Thomas Aquinas 70-68 on the first day of February in a game really St. Thomas Aquinas led by 7 with just under a minute left, and Miege rallied and won a very exciting game. If you ask Rick Zeke, he'll say it was one of the more exciting games he's ever experienced in his 9 years at Bishop Miege High School.
See right there by the discrepancy of the two games. One game a lower scoring game, which is the one that St. Thomas Aquinas excelled in, and Miege more of an up-tempo team. Really likes that pace to be up a little bit higher as well as the score.
As far as looking back on last year, Miege won 2 of the 3 games, but keep in mind it was St. Thomas Aquinas who went to Bishop Miege and snapped their 49-game home win streak, 51-50 last year. So we'll get the best out of both these teams as here comes the Saints being introduced to the full house here in Overland Park at St. Thomas Aquinas High School. Once again, all seniors starting. Seniors will play for a few moments, and then we'll see a sophomore named Jordan Allison, who's an up-and-coming player, and also see their super freshman named Clinton Mann. We saw his brother last year. He was absolutely a fantastic player, now playing at William and Mary. Clinton actually the third of 3 Mann brothers to play here. Justin, Nathan, and now Clinton Mann. He's big number 33 right there in that huddle. So once the seniors get their moment in the sun on senior night, we'll be back to the regular lineup. And Doug, we were talking before the game, this is a young team, a very inconsistent St. Thomas Aquinas team, maybe a year or 2 away.
Well, they're definitely a year or 2 away, but you can see with Mann, you got another one on down in the lineup, Keith McCullough. He's a 6'6" freshman as well. But this is the guys that really got to take it upon their shoulders. And the guys that have is Quentin Todd. He's done an excellent job, as well as Drew Huppy and Jeff Dierking. They've all done very good jobs in nurturing the young guys along. And we'll see what happens toward the end of the season right now as states really get underway.
Miege at 11-8. St. Thomas Aquinas at 8-11. St. Thomas Aquinas in white, Miege in red with the blue numerals. Your officials, Dick Needling, Nick Marshall, and Grady Jessup. That is Dwight Needling, I beg your pardon. Tata against Medina, and tap batted around and controlled by Bishop Miege as Isaac Miles down the left half. And a zone defense employed by the Saints to open the ball game.
They're trying to control Isaac Miles from the outside with the zone.
And the shot rejected. Hugh Tata got a piece of that Lampone shot. And here comes St. Thomas Aquinas across with Drew Huppy and Brendan Riley as their guards. Miege also setting up in a zone defense to open up.
They're more of a 3-2 zone versus Aquinas 2-3 zone. Really trying to shadow the outside right now.
And one of the big bugaboos for St. Thomas Aquinas, Doug, is they haven't scored a lot of points this year. As the miss by Huppy on the 3. In 5 of their 11 losses, they've scored 36 or less points. Combs out of the corner, no. Rebound tapped around and controlled by Cooper Smith for the Saints of St. Thomas Aquinas. In the corner quickly, Tata with the 17-foot hop. Pinball's out. Cooper Smith right there to stick it back in.
Hustle that time by Cooper Smith. And he's just a freshman as well.
Jake, the 6'2" junior, as they go inside. Now the kick out to Perini, cross-courting to Combs. He's going back and forth across the zone inside Lampone. There's Miles, top of the key 3, dancing off, no. Rebound off the leg of Manny Medina, and it'll be the Saints basketball in the backcourt.
Good patience that time by the Stags. Moved the ball around one side of the floor to the other. Made the defense work a little bit before getting an open shot. Really got to focus quite a bit on Miles on the defensive end, as well as the young fella, Chris Combs. A little penetration right now and a lot of movement. But you can hit shots like that out of the corner outside of the arc. Good ball movement.
Quentin Tata with the 3. He's their top scorer at 13 per game. Medina at the baseline, cut off. Out to Miles, three-point range. He's a good slasher, plays it inside, and it's a turnover for Bishop Miege.
It's one of the things that gets the zone right there. Miles really likes to put the ball on the floor. He's not afraid at all of contact. Matter of fact, he likes it. And if he can get in that teeth of the defense, he's very unselfish.
Uppy is their top three-point shooter. Brother is the all-time three-point shooter on this team, and Uppy drains the 3, his 21st of the season. This is brother Mark, all-time school scorer at 1,163 points, and a chip off the old block in Drew. Miege timeout.
We're about 21 feet right now. Drew really getting his feet set. Miege allowing him to do so. And I would imagine Coach Zeke being one of the best coaches in this city right now. He'll change the defenses up quite a bit. He may go more to an up-tempo, which is the previous meeting that they had. That's where Miege really excelled, when the score was a lot higher. They want the tempo of the game sped up.
Well, Coach Zeke stressed outside shooting for his team and making sure they got on the offensive glass. Right now, his team 0 for in the ball game, 0 for 3 from the field. And Doug, the seniors just supposed to be in there for their moment in the sun. They're taking advantage with an 8-0 run.
Yeah, and if I'm Coach Riley, I'm doing the right thing right now. You better leave them in the ball game. It's not like these guys don't play anyhow.
All the guys play. Riley comes off the bench. Jeff Dierking comes off the bench as well. Here's Combs. The pull-up way too strong. And there's Aaron Anderson with a stick back.
Aaron Anderson very active inside. He's got a big body, a big football body, and very athletic as well.
Aaron comes off the bench, averages 3 points and 4 rebounds. Call him Ray Lewis, as he kind of looks like Ray facially, and he's a very good football player as well. Very intense young man. Here's Uppy for another deep one. Bingo.
That zone defense, you allow the outside shooting. Normally, you're not going to convert more from the outside than the inside. Right now, Aquinas really having a good time outside of the arc.
Timmy Lysett is in the ball game as well for the Stags, as Aaron Anderson throws the ball away. A Miege turnover.
Seen an older version of Aaron Anderson and a guy named Brandon Jackson at Liberty. Both very athletic, big bodies, bruisers. Really like to get in and very nimble as well. Rare combinations.
Jordan Allison, their normal point guard, super sophomore in the ball game now. He has it at the right wing. His father is Rick Allison, former Dorino Award winner, along with his twin brother Mick, when they played at center and went 29-0. There's Cooper Smith, no. Ball deflects off the back and taken by Anderson for Miege. There's Miles, and a reach-in foul coming up on Allison.
Foul against Allison, his first team foul into the game.
Father is an assistant coach for the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints. Former Pembroke Hill coach with the Rush brothers in tow. They won 3 state titles. Medina checks out. Lampone back in. Here's Miles with a shake to Combs. Played inside, great feed from Combs to Lampone.
Excellent feeding pass that time by Combs.
Lampone has played well against the Saints, scoring 28 points in 2 ball games. Here's the freshman man. High post. Now they're working around the perimeter to Huppy, who looks back to see what Coach Riley wants to run here.
Still Miege staying in that 3-2 zone defense.
There's Todd in the turnaround, and he rattles it in.
One of the ways you beat a zone is penetration, either with passing, ball passing, or the dribble. The pass inside in the middle of that defense. Just like that.
Combs from the outside with a line drive swish. Chris Combs, a very underrated sophomore, averaging 13 points per game, and he's going to get a lot bigger. His dad's about 6'5". He has size 13 shoes, and Chris can dunk it. Huppy for three again. Money.
Miege is really letting Aquinas shoot from the outside right now. Uncontested.
And they are paying a heavy price. Huppy with 3 threes in the first quarter. Miles with an answer. Isaac Miles with his 40th three of the season. His first bucket of the ball game. The 6'2 junior D1 prospect. The Big 12 schools, Missouri Valley schools, hot on his heels.
And they should be too.
Here's Tada in that same spot mid-lane, and he's feeling it.
They're just absolutely torching the Stag zone right now.
An 18-9 start for the Saints on senior night. Here's Combs out of the corner, and he sticks it.
Trying to speed up the tempo right now. A little bit more pressure right now for the Stags. Maybe going man-to-man, but trying to pick up three-quarter court.
Here's Mann, the freshman, with the drive and the bank.
That did not look like a freshman that time. Good aggressive move to the basket.
Now we mentioned his older brother Nathan was a star here last year.
Good job getting the ball away from the defense and then just going strong to the basket. Good job by the freshman.
And his older brother Nathan did not have the size. He was a shooting guard. Now at William and Mary, and playing very well for them. He had 25 points recently against VCU, Virginia Commonwealth.
He plays very hard all the time.
Here's Miles coming up short, might have been partially blocked. Perini fouled underneath. Tada got a piece of his arm. Free throws coming up here for Paul Perini, a 6'3 senior, the vocal leader of this team. Perini has struggled from the free throw stripe, only at 43%. Also played football. He's a twin. His sister Teresa is a good athlete as well. Lampone tried to stick back, got it swatted away, and that's the freshman, Clinton Mann, with the rejection underneath.
Clinton Mann doing an excellent job inside, using that 6'6 size to his advantage, just timing up at the top. He'll learn to keep the ball in bounds in time.
He averages a block per game as the freshman. Keith Schmidberger has checked in. He has it at the wing. He's a backup guard. Winding down in the first quarter. Another block by Mann as he went flying at the shooter Combs that time. Here's Allison into the front court. Corner pass, and they'll set it up. Michael Jacobs has checked in the ball game, a 6'1 junior. He has it right sideline, out front Mann. Tada's had a good first quarter. He's got 7. Huppy been on fire. Can't get the 3 this time. Rebound control by Nathan Mann.
Good job by Mann just to get one paw in there and keep the ball active.
Huppy dribbling out the clock on the first quarter. 8-point lead for the Saints and the basketball. Here's the cut by Allison, and he's fouled. Reach-in foul, Paul Perini of Miege.
Jordan Allison is very active on the offensive end of the floor, which makes it very difficult to guard. But on the opposite end, Clinton Mann really flying hard at the shooter. Really outstretches 6'6", and there he learns how to keep the ball, maybe tap it to himself a little bit. But Combs also learned that he better get rid of the ball a lot quicker.
Nathan also 6'6", but got very long arms as Huppy continues to drain him from 3. His fourth 3 of the quarter, and that'll wrap up the first quarter here at Saintsland. St. Thomas Aquinas, and on senior night, St. Thomas Aquinas, a team that's had trouble scoring the basketball, comes out with a 23-point first quarter, and they lead by 11 at home. And it all ended with a three-point make by senior Drew Huppy, his fourth of the quarter.
Drew Huppy doing a good job. He's right there on the outside of that box. And all he does is just slide to the corner. Unguarded that time by the zone defense for the Stags. That's just a lack of paying attention.
Huppy's season high is 17. He's already got 12 here in the first quarter on the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week. Drew Huppy, the star of the first quarter here on the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week. Kevin White, Doug Elston with you, and Aquinas, a team, Doug, that's only been averaging 49 points per game, has a huge first quarter, and they'll start with the basketball in the second quarter.
Miege allowed them to shoot outside the arc a lot in their first quarter because of that zone defense. Now gone to a man.
Jacobs down the baseline with a teardrop, flicked around, controlled by Lampone. James Lampone, the transfer from O'Hara, averages 4 rebounds per game. Wing pass to Combs. Drake Dunsmore is checked in the lineup now for St. Thomas Aquinas. He defends Combs. And the ball is turned over as Schmittberger couldn't handle it on the side and give it back to the Saints.
There's another young gun, too, for the Saints. Drake Dunsmore, just a sophomore. Watch him on the floor, extremely active at all times.
You mentioned they've got a group of very talented young players. You take a look at the field goal shooting. Aquinas on fire. Here's the freshman man, finding Allison. And if you ask Sean Riley, he said all these young players just have unlimited potential. Here's the coach's son with the drive and a blocking foul coming up on Lampone for Miege. That'll be his first.
Lampone is first, and it's time to shoot 2, Riley.
And free throws coming up here for Brendan Riley, the coach's son. Little brother Quinn is a 5'10" sophomore.
Henry Cooper-Smith and Tana replacing Miege and Jacobs.
Tata coming back in. Also Cooper-Smith. As Riley calmly drains 2 free throws.
Replacing Riley.
And Drew Huppy is returned to Sean Riley's lineup. Big lead of 12 now for the Saints.
Staying back into that zone defense right now, really trying to mix up their zone maybe a little bit more and throw a little pressure out on the top. With Jordan Allison trying to guard the point guard coming across the lane.
Isaac Miles thus far with a 3-point make. And really, they've asked him to do a whole lot, and at one point in the season, Isaac broke down, was crying in the coach's office and saying, "Coach, you want me to set up the offense, score all the points, defend their best player, and do everything?" And he said, "Well, what's the problem? You're going to have to do it at the next level," and he's doing it on this level. His second 3 of the ball game. Isaac Miles, the 6'2" junior.
That's just one of those growing pains, going from one position to the other. His running mate last year, leaving, going to another school.
Cut back door by Allison, can't finish. Isaac Miles had the rebound, lost it out of bounds. STA will keep the baseline.
Can't say enough about Isaac Miles, the way he's a team player and all that he's done when the coaches asked him to do. He has done everything without complaints, constantly working to get better.
Big article in the Kansas City Star a week ago by Sam Mellinger. He really is a good young man. Here's Huppy again for 3. This one dancing off, and a rebounding foul on the inside coming up on the Saints. Looks like Tata was pushing off on the inside for STA.
Right now, Miege puts Miles more to his natural position right now with Lycett at the point.
Check that last foul on Drake Dunsmore, the 6'1" sophomore, his first, 3rd of the team for St. Thomas Aquinas, as they continue to play some tough defense in this ball game. Holmes cut off on the drive, pass intercepted. Here's the sophomore, Dunsmore with the drive and layup.
That's that activity we talked about. Drake Dunsmore, always very active.
His father played in the NFL for the Chicago Bears, and he is emerging player, about a year away. They call him a big puppy dog. And here's Isaac Miles, cut off by Cooper Smith. Will shoot. No, instead a nice look that time to James Lampone.
Greg Dunsmore's father has a nice Super Bowl ring as well. The Fridge Perry.
And Huppy on the pull-up. No. Combs rebounding in the inside from Bishop Miege. Long outlet to Miles. Pull up three. Off the iron. Dunsmore fighting for the rebound. Is tied up by Lycett, and the arrow will stay with Bishop Miege.
Very difficult to guard that time. The shot by Isaac Miles. He's able to skip down. A lot of moves and hesitations with the basketball. Very crafty. And then able to pull up after giving himself a couple feet.
Isaac Miles kicking it back to Combs.
Combs just has to be ready to shoot the basketball. Miles is getting him a lot of open looks right now.
He's going to fire the three, and he sticks it. 7 now for Chris Combs, his 31st three of the season. He shoots 42% from bonus distance. And we got a bumping foul at the baseline coming up on Bishop Miege. It looks like Aaron Anderson, but talked about Chris Combs. He is asked to do a lot of the scoring from the 2 position and averaging 13 per game. He has done a lot of that scoring this year for this team. And a lot of people I don't think know about Chris Combs, but I'm telling you folks, he's moving up the charts. Here's Tata handing off to Mann.
Double team down there, caught Mann wide open underneath the basket with no help.
Lycett, cross court, Combs faking the shot, now will put up the shot. Strong off the back iron, Allison the long rebound, and a reaching foul coming up on Timmy Lycett, number 24, for the Miege Stags.
Fouls against Lycett, his first, 4th team foul against Bishop Miege. Reiterating Brady and
Lycett, a 5'11" junior, averages 6 points off the bench. A lefty, can really shoot it. Aquinas got off to a great start in this ball game, an 8-0 lead, led by 11 at the end of the first quarter. They lead by 9 halfway through the second. Here's Mann, the freshman, handing off inside to Allison, whip pass to Tata. From the outside, no, and Medina has the rebound from Miege. Miles has that look in his eye, Doug, where he's about ready to go on one of his patented runs. Here's Lycett, cut off, double team, bad place to be, and he'll take the timeout. So Timmy got into jail there and burned the timeout, and we'll talk it over with Coach Zeke. Coming up next week, it's Missouri State Sectional Basketball, girls and boys ball games being held. The field not set as of yet. We'll let you know by Monday. Check out KCMetrosports.com as the district's going on right now in Missouri. That ball game will air Friday, March the 4th. On Metro Sports. It's our Hy-V high school game of the week. Kevin White, Doug Elston here at St. Thomas Aquinas. Well, the fans keep coming in, Doug. Did people not get the memo on the 7 o'clock start? But Drew Huppy has been lighting up the crowd tonight with those 3-pointers.
4 of them in the first quarter, and they've got to find him, and they've done a good job of finding him in the second quarter. But 4 in the first quarter did a lot of damage early on to the Saints in that zone defense. Pulled him single-handedly, shot him out of the zone.
Isaac Miles trying to lead his team back. Miles has scored 21 and 16 against the Saints in the 2 meetings. Thus far, he has 6. Inside Medina, had it blocked. Jeff Dierke, one of the seniors on it tonight, got the swat, and the Saints have it back. Here's Jeff, just inside the 3-point line. Whip pass out front to Allison. Now they'll start their offense with a wing pass to Cooper Smith. Out to Nathan Mann. High post, surveying. Boy, he's got some long arms, Doug.
Well, he's got a lot of poise, too, with the basketball, and he's aggressive with the ball as well. He's got a lot of very good qualities.
Here's Miles to the basket finishing. Oh, nice pirouette and finish by Isaac Miles.
got to get him involved. He loves the transition offense as well. He can shoot from the outside. We've already seen that.
If there's one weakness, it is his outside shot. He's only shooting 33% from three-point land, but
it isn't all that bad either.
If you're going to dissect his game and you were looking for something to point out that he needs to still work on, maybe his outside shot, according to Rick Z. He's been struggling the last few ball games. Had some turnovers. Struggles with his shot. Looks pretty good tonight. 8 in the first half for Isaac Miles. His team down by 7 is the Saints. Very patient on this set. Uppy being hawked by Miles. Out to Coopersmith in a double team. And a reach-in foul coming up. Go back to that last play by Miles, and kind of reminds you of another guy that plays for UMKC, whirling on the dribble, Doug.
Well, he does an excellent job spinning away, a la Quentin Day, I believe is probably who you're talking about. But Miles, extremely athletic and a very big body.
And a turnover by STA. Gives it back to the red-clad Miege Stags after a timeout.
Coach Z really trying to get his guys back into this game emotionally, and they are too. Isaac Miles, he's the leader on the floor, and you mentioned a couple of guys, and Paul Perini, who's really the vocal leader of the team, and Miles really does a lot by example as well.
Coming up after we're done, it's the McDonald's High School Roundup, and it'll be Mick Schaefer and Brad Porter as your host, among others. We'll run down scores and highlights, Missouri District action, Kansas wrapping things up before they go to the sub-states next week, and we'll have your Super 25 coming up Friday nights at 10 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. It's the McDonald's High School Roundup, only on Metro Sports. Aquinas has led throughout. By margin of 11 after the end of the first quarter, and Miege just quietly chipping away at this lead as it's down to 7 with just over 2 before the Hy-Vee at the half. Here's Miles from downtown, comes up short. Perini with the rebound and stick back, and he's fouled.
There's a lot of that enthusiasm right there. Good job out of the huddle. Perini really staying with it. Miles, not one of those patented shots that he has. Normally he'll hit something, and a lot of times at net, but Perini really staying with it and active inside.
And Perini, no shock him getting on the offensive glass. He's their leading rebounder at 5 per game. He completes the three-point play. He has 4. And Jeff Deerkeen lost the handle at the baseline, and the Saints will give it back. So back-to-back turnovers for STA, and all of a sudden we got a game.
Oh, you can see what's happened too. The tempo is sped up right now. Miege excelling more in the up-tempo game at this point in time.
Cross court, Isaac Miles putting it on the floor with the drive. With the bank, got his own, goes back up, no. Fight for the rebound, and it'll go over to St. Thomas Aquinas. Everything but the finish that time, Doug.
Yeah, he's looking for a lot of contact too. He's probably shooting the ball, expecting contact. And right now, whether they're hitting him or not, he's got to make sure he gets the ball up there and has a chance to go in.
Pressure in the backcourt, Coopersmith. Back to Allison, who will run it across. In the corner, Huppy. This is a two-point shot. Tip try by Mann. And we got a foul over the back coming up on STA. It's going to be on the freshman Mann.
Goes against Mann, his first 15th foul against St. Thomas.
Again, Huppy from the outside. You got to respect his outside shooting. But Mann just staying active inside right now.
There you see the rebounding numbers tonight. Miege 11, Aquinas 7. Aquinas has had problems rebounding the basketball. They've been out-rebounded by their opponents this year.
A lot of times it's a lot more difficult to rebound out of a zone defense because you're playing in a position not right around a man.
Holmes connects from downtown. He's got 10. That's his second 3 of the ball game. And it's now all of a sudden a 1-point difference as Miege has battled back.
Outside shooting by Aquinas, 5 for 9. Miege also doing a very good job at 50%. Wow.
Coopersmith banking strong. Here comes Miege trying to grab the lead. Under a minute to go before half. Here's Miles inside and one.
Unbelievable hesitation that time by Isaac Miles. Absolutely freezes the defense. You have to respect that. He's got the right there. He's got the ability to pull up as well as pass the basketball. And obviously Aquinas did respect that and gave him an open lane to the basket. You can see a guy that creates his own shot almost every single attempt that he has, and you have to give him credit for that.
What great all-around numbers for the 6'2 junior. Leads the team in points, steals, and assists. He's a 73% foul shooter, and he has put his team on top for the first time all night.
Here comes some more up-tempo play, really speeding it up against some full-court defense this time.
It's beaten by the Saints. Cooper Smith inside.
Oh, look at that athleticism.
Now it's re-stolen back. Huppy got the steal, and Huppy will get the layup.
They got the tempo sped up right now. This is in the favor of the Stags.
All even at 31. Final moments of your first half between Miege and St. Thomas Aquinas from St. Thomas Aquinas High School here at Overland Park. Miles gets a screen, fires the three. Oh, nothing but the bottom of the well for Isaac. Long 70-foot shot comes up short, and we have reached halftime, and the Saints fans with their Fear the Deers shirt say, we have rallied. They were down 12 early in the quarter. All of a sudden, they lead 34-31 at the intermission. Hy-Vee at the half next. You're watching the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week on Metro Sports. Miege with a big rally leading by 3 at Hy-Vee at the half. Time now for our first half highlights brought to you by your employee-owned Hy-Vee.
Huppy did an excellent job in the first quarter. He had 4 3-point shots. He's averaging 8 points on the season, but had 12 in the first quarter. Nobody's getting out on him with a hand up for Miege right now. And he got the pressure. Clinton, man, really making his presence known on the inside. 6'6" body, keeping the ball in bounds, tapping it to himself, and remaining very strong and aggressive. Chris Combs from the outside, taking the pass from Isaac Miles. Again from the outside, Chris Combs, a 6'2" sophomore, shooting 42% outside the arc. But you really got to guard that, which is difficult. The athleticism, hesitation of Isaac Miles. And then he's able to go outside of the arc, too, and drain not only 1, but 2 toward the end of the first half. An excellent job by Miles in leading his team.
And Doug Miege with a big-time momentum run to end the second quarter. The Saints going to have to stem the tide. What do you look for maybe in the first few minutes for the Saints?
Well, Aquinas needs to slow the ball game down. They may throw a token press out there just to slow it down a little bit, but Miege does a very good job in half-court sets. They just can't get into transition with Miege, so you got to look for that point guard to slow down the transition game of Miege when push comes to shove. They got to get in that half-court set, really try to pound the ball inside out and get those outside shots clicking again.
And that'll wrap up things on our Hy-Vee at the half on senior night. And a lot of people being honored tonight here at St. Thomas Aquinas. A number of their cheerleaders. We saw their 4 senior basketball players being honored at the start of the ball game, and some of the other members of the senior body getting their just due on this Friday night. And their basketball team trying to get off to a good start in the second half. They led early 8-0, led by as many as 12 to start the second quarter at 24-12. And then Miege changed the tempo, and they went berserk, going on a 22-7 run, thus leading 34-31 at the half. Miles, I think I said 15 for him. I got a little overzealous with him. 14 for Isaac. He had 3 threes. Combs had 10. Those are the top scorers for Bishop Miege. And on the St. Thomas Aquinas side, 14 for Drew Huppy. He had 4 threes. Keep in mind his season high is 17, so he's already got 14 and a half. Hugh Tata had 7. Clinton Mann had 4. So that'll do it for the top scorers here in the first half of this ball game. It is 34-31. Miege leading over St. Thomas Aquinas. And the second half is coming up next as part of our Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week.
Suckers on him.
Welcome back to the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week on senior night. There you take a look at Riley, Tata, Dierking, and Huppy being honored tonight. Their team, though, down by 3 at the intermission, 34-31. And you take a look at the state championship banners. And how about the girls basketball team? They've got a very good team once again this year under Rick Hetzel. And speaking of which, Metro Sports will head south to Emporia to cover the 6A state tournament once again. Aquinas girls 17-2, ranked number 3 in our Super 25. Of course, Blue Valley North boys having a fantastic season. Another team to watch out for. Shawnee Mission Northwest girls, as you take a look, coming up in March. And that's the Kansas 6A state championship from White Auditorium in Emporia, Kansas. And we look to have a number of Kansas City schools in there, but we'll have to wait and see who survives sub-state. That'll be from Wednesday through Saturday, coming up next week in 6A. 5A also going on next week. Miege trying to secure either a 1, 2, or 3 spot in their sub-state. They're battling Blue Valley West for that top spot. There you take a look at the first half for Isaac Miles, 14 points. He had 1 rebound. But really, Doug, he kind of got this team back in the ball game as they were sputtering there to start the second quarter.
Well, not only him, but going to a man-to-man defense really got into the basketball game, too. Aquinas' points really came a lot in that first half from shooting outside the three-point line. But Isaac Miles, in conjunction with going back into a man-to-man, sped up the tempo quite a bit, and they're able to play that game and play off of Isaac Miles very well.
There you take a look at the first half for Drew Huppy. 16 for Drew. Had 4 3-pointers. Underway with the second half. Huppy on the dribble, watched by Perini. Huppy, Allison, Tata, Mann, and Coopersmith. Here's Jacob Coopersmith on the top of the key. No. Pinball's out on him. Lampone with the rebound. Lampone, Miles, Medina, Combs, and Perini. What a move by Miles. He's got the whole package.
Well, Jordan Allison does a very good job, too, on the defense end of the floor. Quick player, very savvy. Obviously taught very well and grew up around the game.
Zone defense continues for the Saints, and they get the steal as Mann got his hands on it and deflected it to a teammate. Here's Coopersmith bump, maintains his balance and finds Huppy. Out of the corner, the shot is home, a 3. Jordan Allison, the super sophomore. There's his father, former Pembroke Hill coach, former Doreno Award winner, along with his twin brother Mick. And Tata able to save it. No, they say he stepped out.
That was a late call that time. Good job, good hustle by Tata. Good job by Coopersmith to stay in there.
And Perini will throw it in for the Stags. All even. Nice inbound play. Manny Medina came in untouched and got the easy deuce. Inside man, double team, kick out in the corner. Tata shoots it long, fight for the rebound. Miles had it, and the ball was knocked out. It'll be Aquinas, or I beg your pardon, Miege's ball. And Doug, what about an inbounds play here?
Well, that's the one thing you don't want to let happen, is have somebody sneak right through the center of your defense, right in between 2 and 3 guys for an easy layup. Good job by Medina and Perini that time to find each other.
You won't want to be in the film room when that one's shown before the whole team. Miles taking it inside, call for the offensive charge.
Well, he's still down too. He's got a little wind knocked out of him that time. The freshman taking the charge as Miles went up with knee first, which is really what you're supposed to do. The next time it makes it a lot more difficult for somebody to stand in there and take that charge after getting a lot of contact like that. Not a dirty play at all.
No, but it makes these guys think twice.
That's exactly what it does. Watch his knee go up this time, and he's just really protecting himself more than anything. Inadvertent right there, and he did not mean to hurt anybody, but you're right. It'll make him think twice about standing in the next time against Isaac Miles.
So the freshman on the floor learns a valuable lesson. He did get the charge and the foul call on Isaac Miles, but may have got the wind knocked out of him as he took that knee right into the rib cage. Take a look at Coach Zeke. His team, a great run in the second quarter to grab a halftime lead, now leading by 2. Just over 6 to play in your third quarter. Man now being helped to his feet. Looks to be okay.
And they need him back in the basketball game. He's very good inside the paint. A lot of block shots, readjust a lot of shots. He's very aggressive as a freshman.
It'll be the Saints basketball after the charging foul on Isaac Miles, his first foul. Team's first. Miege pressures the backcourt. Cooper Smith can't find anybody, and he'll take the timeout.
Miege again trying to speed up the tempo of the basketball game. They do a very good job of playing fast but under control.
30-second timeout.
Next week, Missouri State Sectionals basketball. We'll have a boys game and we'll have a girls game. He played on Wednesday, air on Friday, March 4th. Part of our High School Game of the Week. Teams to be announced on Monday. Check the website kcmetrosports.com for more information. 2-point difference in this one. The last time these teams played, it was 70-68 at Bishop Miege, as Miege rallied late to win on their home floor.
Well, and that's where this score is headed right now, is upper high 60s, probably low 70s at this point.
Allison takes the inbounds pass. Pass intercepted by Miles. Gets his own after a miss and draws the foul. I'll tell you what, Doug, you mentioned this guy. He's so strong. He loves to body search. He loves the contact and able to draw the foul and shoot 2.
Well, he is too, but sometimes he's looking more for the contact. Right there you see he feels the contact is coming, so he short arms it up there, expecting that contact and the foul. He can't worry about that contact whatsoever and just concentrate on his normal target.
15 in the game for the 6'2 junior. The season high 31 against Blue Valley Northwest. He also scored 30 against O'Hara. And the continued pressure by Miege. Here's Allison. Boy, he's got all the moves as far as a dribbler is concerned. Huppy with the 3, short. Dierkeen with a stick back, yes.
Talk about a guy who likes contact. That's one right there. And Huppy can't find his rhythm right now. He's trying to find it against a man-to-man defense, unable to find it at this point.
And a whistle and a backcourt foul coming up on Jordan Allison for STA. It'll be his second.
There's Huppy coming around the screen this time. There's nobody on him at this point. He's got a lot of area right in there to really do a lot. And Huppy's trying to find his feet, but he's 22 feet away from the basket at this point.
Huppy has 4 threes in the ball game. Here's Medina. 3 tattoos in all, but they're all covered up with bandages tonight. Isaac Miles working the top. Over to Combs for 3, and he buries it. Chris Combs with his 3rd 3 of the night, and he's got 13.
Again, a very good job by Isaac Miles to create that shot for Chris Combs, as he had 2 defenders guarding him.
Dierkeen High post. Out to Huppy. Huppy puts it on the floor, whirls into the paint, finding Tata. Tata with his spinning move comes up short. Ball deflects out. Allison will reset it now for the Stags, or the Saints, I beg your pardon. It's Huppy's 3 misfires. And we got a foul coming up on the inside on STA. So Huppy, who got off to a rip-roaring start, has gone cold. It'll be foul number 1 on Jeff Deerking. There you see Manny all covered up. Got 3 tattoos, and they're all covered up.
Also Anderson.
It's a good look, though. It's a good look. I said, how do you get tattoos? Don't you have to be 18 to be tattooed? He said, well, I'm already 18. I can get tattoos. I said, okay, sorry, Manny. We're all religious in nature for Manny. Let's get back to basketball.
Thank you.
Let's quit talking ink. Here's Manny down that baseline, and he stepped out.
1-3-1 defense that time by Aquinas. Switching up the zone defense, will not go to that man-to-man.
Hey, Doug, can they squeeze a few more people in here?
It is, too. There is a lot of people in here right now. I'm looking over there at the couch crew, and they've got 16 folks sitting on the couch. That normally holds 2 or 3.
SRO tonight, standing room only here at St. Thomas Aquinas for the Hy-Vee High School game of the week. It's been a good one thus far. Miege by 5 halfway through the third. Man back in after he took that knee to the chest, absorbing a charge on Isaac Miles. Now Miles coming out on Huppy to Cooper Smith, right side.
They are not letting Huppy breathe right now.
Tata comes up short. Chris Combs has the rebound, and he's tied up. And the arrow goes to Miege, and Combs wanted a foul that time. One is not forthcoming. Chris having a good ball game, 13 points, and I question him in practice about his dunking ability, and Rick Zeke pulled him aside, said, go dunk one on one of the side goals and show this Metro Sports guy you can dunk. I said, no, not on one of those goals where the rims dip down about 3 inches. Go to the main goal. And he slammed it home for me, so he shut me up. Chris Combs can slam it, but he said it'll be a miracle if he do one in a ball game. Very fundamental in the games. Here's Miles from downtown, knocking it down. Isaac Miles now with 19 game-high points. And all of a sudden, it's an 8-point difference, Doug.
Well, he had a hand up on the shooter that time. Isaac Miles shooting with the hand in his face.
And Isaac commits the foul at midcourt. That's his second.
Watch up top. This isn't one of those shots that is uncontested at all. There is a hand up in his face right now as Drake Dunsmore does a good job of getting out, and a hand in his face. That's just a very good shot.
3 team fouls. Now on the Stags is Allison working the dribble out front. Lysett all over him. Bounce feeding. Nathan Mann, great position, great finish.
That's where they need to go, inside. They got to get Nathan Mann involved in this basketball game from the inside right now.
That is the future of this ball club. Allison to Mann.
Nice pass.
No look by Miles to Manny Medina.
Medina from Miles.
I tell you what, Doug, this kid can do it all.
Well, that's the unselfishness right there. Isaac Miles doing an excellent job of drawing 2 and 3 guys because they have to respect him at all times.
Rick Zeke said he's kind of like Jamar Howard. He could score a bunch of points if he had to, but he does all the other things. It's Tata, the senior, with the drive and finish. He's got 9.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Jamar Howard is very talented, extremely athletic, but this guy is a refined basketball player.
Near steal by Allison. Miles on the pull-up for 3. Yes!
Oh, wow.
Isaac Miles putting on a show on the road. Five threes, 22 in the book for the junior guard, Isaac Miles. And now the throwaway as Mann thought his player was cutting to the outside, and Coach Riley's team will give it back to Miege. And Miege down 12 at the start of the second quarter has rallied back.
That's a good timeout right here. I don't know who took the timeout, whether it was Zeke or Riley. It would have been a very good timeout for Coach Riley to take that. His team was shattered right now. They have got to get back into this basketball game mentally and emotionally after that onslaught by Isaac Miles.
Let's go back, though, Doug, to the look on the inside to Manny Medina by Isaac Miles.
Well, he had 2 threes in this sequence, but once again, when he puts the ball on the floor, you can see 2 and 3 guys and a no-look pass as he's looking out to Chris Combs, who has shown that he can shoot the three-point shot, leaving Medina open right underneath the basket. And then the onslaught again outside of the arc. That's one of the 2 or 3 during that sequence by Isaac Miles. Responsible for probably 11 of his points in the last 4 possessions.
44 threes on the season. First team All-State last year, All-EKL. Young man they call Man-Man because he's such a hyperactive little kid. Favorite player is Allen Iverson, but 22 points thus far. Looking to go to the 30 mark. He's done that twice this year. 30 against O'Hara, 31 against Blue Valley Northwest. The Miege ball out of the timeout. Combs, Lycett, Miles, Anderson, and Perini on the floor. Watched by Allison. The sophomore won't back down.
Very content right now to run time off the clock, bringing Aquinas out again, out of that zone. It's like almost a triangle 2 at this point against Miles and Chris Combs.
Rick Zeke wants them out of the zone, so he's holding the ball.
They are a triangle 2 at this point, and Rick Zeke is very content to run time off this clock.
Timmy Lycett just dribbling near the center court line as the clock goes under a minute to go in your third quarter. Now handing off to Miles. Allison all over him. Isaac looking to the bench. No 5 count forthcoming as Allison not within range for that. Now Isaac checking the clock.
He won't do anything until there's at least 12 seconds on the clock.
Now they double team him to get the ball out of his hands to get it to Combs. They want to clear out for Isaac Miles to end the quarter, I'm sure. And now here it is. They'll clear out number 10 against the world, Isaac Miles. He'll stop and go to the rack, and he finishes a la Keith Langford right there. Winding down the quarter, Dunsmore from half court comes up short. 51-40 as Isaac Miles with 24 points after 3, leading his team to this 11-point road lead. Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week continues after this timeout. The fourth quarter is next on Metro Sports. Back here at St. Thomas Aquinas High School. Miege down early, and Isaac Miles has put his team on his back, and Miege leads by 11 going to the fourth quarter. The Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week. Say thanks to our sponsors at Hy-Vee. I shop at the 87th Street store. You can go down and see Shar in the flower department. My old friend there, and Christina and Erica and Katie, they all work there at the Hy-Vee at 87th. Go down and see him, Doug.
I went last night.
You were there last night. That's right. You did call me and tell me you were shopping there at Hy-Vee. Good to know that. There you see the quarter scores by breakdown. I tell you what, Isaac Miles, though, Doug, has been the story. 24 points, and the way he finished that third quarter, it just kind of reminded me of Keith Langford for the University of Kansas. The clear out, the drive, and finish.
He can definitely get to the rim, but he can shoot the basketball from the outside as well. And you saw the breakdown in quarters, and that really discrepancy there between the first and the second quarter is when Miege went from a zone to a man-to-man defense. He really changed the entire pace and tempo of this basketball game.
Lycett with the foul, his second. 3 team fouls. Here's Huppy down the baseline, hanging and scoring.
There he is. He gets back involved in the basketball game right now. Huppy is one of those guys that if you get involved from the inside, he can also make it happen from the outside, as we saw in the first quarter. Good job by Huppy as they're coming out on him now and doing a good job of spinning an acrobatic shot that time. Very difficult.
Huppy, one of the team captains. His brother, the all-time leading scorer in school history. His dad was the former coach here. He's also the football quarterback of the fall. Miles down low. Perini got it and then called the timeout. So it'll be a 30-second Miege timeout with them leading by 9. 7:21 to go in your ball game. Coming up, it's the McDonald's High School Roundup. Scores and highlights throughout the area. It's Missouri District time. Kansas wrapping up the regular season in the conference races there. Your Super 25. Mick and Brad will have it for you. Coming up at 10 p.m. You can also check it out on the replay Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. It's the McDonald's High School Roundup, only on Metro Sports. Folks, plenty of them. There's Katie Martinsich, the outstanding volleyball player, and Jacqueline Williams in the crowd, enjoying things as they're trying to get the revenge at the place they call the Ox. Don't ask. I don't know.
Why do they call it the Ox?
Don't know. And really do not care. Miege the inbounds after the timeout. Riley with the near steal. And Miles will set it up. Boy, Isaac feeling it. Off the mark on this one. Tata with the rebound.
You're right. That's not normally a shot that he would take. But he is definitely feeling it right now from the outside. So he's trying to make more points for his team. Simple as that.
And a Saints turnover. Their bench area thought they should keep it. And we go over to Miege with just under 7 to play in your ball game.
Here comes some man-to-man defense right now for Aquinas, which is what Miege wants to see with Miles handling the ball. And Cooper Smith now on Miles.
Perini out front now. Combs watched by Allison. Lycett, Huppy all over him, through the hands of Miles, ball on the deck. Nice save by Miles. Boy, he's quick. Lycett with the open 3 look. And he got the shooter's roll.
How soft are those rims? Cotton ball soft.
The rate we're going, we're going to have soft rims at every high school gym.
Of course. There's a pattern going on here.
Cooper Smith fouled on the shot, will shoot 2, and Combs. And we get the whistle from Nick Marshall on the side. And now they're saying that Combs pushed him as he was shooting, so it'll be a 2-shot situation coming up here for Jacob Cooper Smith. Cooper Smith, excellent student. Wants to be a sports physician someday. Likes Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat. And he, by the way, is a junior, 6'2 junior, Jake Cooper Smith. And he cans a pair. Here's Combs out front. Working on the sophomore. Handing off to Miles, stumbling. And it'll stay with Miege.
Right now it'd be to Aquinas' favor to switch a bunch of guys off onto Isaac Miles. Not a lot of time left, obviously, in the basketball game to wear him down. But the fact of the matter is you can throw a bunch of different bodies at him over the course of the next minute to 2 minutes. You never know what's going to happen.
Nice hit, looking, needing help. The handoff to Miles. Miles got a game-high 24. Watched by Cooper Smith. A couple of good juniors going at it. Isaac saying he's not close enough to start the 5-count there, ref. Puts a screen high from Perini. Isaac whirling, handing off Combs. Head of the key three, money.
Wow, again, created by Isaac Miles. Dribbling and getting two guys to guard him and finding Combs wide open again.
Combs with 4 threes and 16 points. Tata with the runner, banks it home.
They need Quentin Tata to get involved in this basketball game.
And we got a foul away from the ball coming up on Paul Perini as he was jousting with man. Give it back to the Saints. Down by 11.
Isaac Miles doing an excellent job off the dribble, and you can see you got 1, 2 guys guarding him, leading this area right here wide open for Combs, coming right around the screen that time. You can see Combs wide open at the top of the key after 2 guys guarding him. Nothing but net.
Let's see if the Saints can rally. Down by 11. Oh, good defense there by Miles as Allison crashed into Lampone, and they say, what, blocking foul? No, it's a charge on Allison. Give it back to Miege. So the sophomore guard with his 3rd foul. 15 foul, and Coach Riley's team down by 11. Look at the 3-point shooting tonight by Miege, Doug. 9 for 15. Low look pass inside Lampone, no. Miles had a good look. Lampone couldn't finish. And here comes Huppy up the floor.
Well, don't discount Aquinas, too. They're shooting 45% outside the 3-point line, which a lot of that damage was done in the first quarter.
Huppy had 4 in the first half. Allison stop and go. Finding Cooper Smith from just beyond the elbow. Nope. So Aquinas has gone cold. And Coach Sean Riley said his team has been very inconsistent. It's a young team. They have spurts. Miles had his pass knocked away. Huppy has it back the other way. Finding man spinning out. Medina with the rebound for Miege.
A lot of contact that time.
No whistles. Under 4 to play in your ball game.
Again, very content with the way the score is at this point and willing to take time off the clock. They're going to throw some double teams at him, some kind of trap to make things happen.
Miles with the take. Draws the foul. Wants some shots. He will not get them. Foul on the floor, so the ball on the side. That's 16 fouls. And that is the 2nd foul on Cooper Smith. As Michael Jacobs will replace Cooper Smith in the lineup. Combs to throw in. Stags leading by 11. Ball deflected by Tata, stolen by Huppy. 2-on-1. Allison fouled on the play. As Miles was back there.
On the pass. They called it on the pass, so it's out of bounds instead of a 2-shot foul. You can see Jordan Allison trying to flip it behind his back, because here comes Isaac Miles instead of just going up for the easy layup.
That'll be the 3rd foul on Isaac Miles. No shots. Aquinas sets up their offense. Just over 3 to play. Huppy puts it on the floor. Baseline pop short. Rebound volleyed around. Controlled by Lampone. He's fouled in the backcourt by Huppy. That'll be 17 fouls. Lampone will shoot the 1+ the bonus at the other end. Rick Zeke talking about this team, Doug. 11-8. Everybody buried this team once Dominic Johnson transferred to Lincoln Prep, but they could potentially get a #1 seed and make their 8th straight trip to state. They have a good sub-state.
Well, I'm not sure if I want to play this team coming into February and March. At this point, the way Isaac Miles has got it going and everybody playing around, it takes a little time after a big loss like that. Dominic Johnson, a very good basketball player. And they've learned to play without him as a team. Good tip by Isaac Miles.
Doing it all tonight. The back tip, the assist, the 24 points, the save at the sideline. What can't this guy do? Isaac Miles. And now Zeke wants a timeout, and he gets it. And now Rick kind of gets on the official a little bit. The official gave him the death stare back. Timeout, Miege.
Very animated on the sideline. A very good basketball coach, Rick Zeke. Watch Isaac Miles right now. Isaac Miles just gets that left hand on it to tip it out. An excellent job by Isaac Miles. If you can't get two hands on it, just get one and tip it out where you got the most advantage, which is outside of the free throw line.
What a great crowd tonight for our Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week here on Metro Sports from the Ox St. Thomas Aquinas High School Gymnasium. EKL boys basketball. Miege, folks, was down by 12 early second quarter. They won a 22-7 run to lead by 3 at halftime. And really, they dominated this game in the second half as they lead it 58-46. Isaac Miles having a big night. He's got 24. He scored 16 in the first meeting, 21 in the second meeting, and now 24. And don't forget, we'll do the promo from the sign. The high school roundup is next, brought to you by McDonald's. Isaac Miles with 24, averaging 21 on the season. His season high is 31 against Blue Valley Northwest. Back on the 28th of January, and Miles will shoot free throws.
Well, that's the trap we were looking for right there. They've got to start trapping to make things happen. They've got to create offense off of their defense right now.
Foul on Cooper Smith, his third. 8th team foul, 1-1 for Isaac Miles. .25 for the junior guard, being looked at by a number of Big 12 schools and Missouri Valley schools. Some debate whether he'll be a 1 or 2 on the next level. I think he's strong enough to play the 2.
Oh, yeah.
He could be a combo guard of some kind.
I don't think there's any question.
He likes the contact. He can absorb the contact and still shoot. Huppy from downtown. No. Rebounded underneath. Lampone in traffic. Trying to get it out of there. It's knocked away and stolen by Mann. Huppy whipping it over to Allison for a deep 3. Off the front lip. Cooper Smith, right place, right time. Quick timeout, STA. Lead down to 12 with 2:32 to play in your ball game.
Good sequence for Aquinas right now, but very good defense as well as they're getting a hand in the face, forcing the shooters to shoot outside of 21, 22 feet, but did not box out that time, leaving Cooper Smith and Aquinas a little bit of room. Trying to stay in this basketball game at this point. They can do so. They got a run in them. They got the three-point shooters on the squad that can really put some points up on the board in a hurry.
Taking a look at the boys' EKL standings. Blue Valley North is the EKL champs for 2004 and 2005. They've won 16 straight as they beat Harmon earlier this week. This was a team that was 1 and 2. They've reeled off 16 straight with big Casey Crawford. And that Jeff Hill-led team is very strong and one of the favorites in 6A, potentially win state. Miege battling Blue Valley West for the 5A sub-state #1 seed. So Miege getting the victory tonight help their chances. Rick Zeke said we could be a 1, 2, or 3 seed in sub-state starting Wednesday of next week. You know they want that 1 spot. And they're looking to go to state for the 8th straight year, as last year they were 2nd in state to Highland Park out of Topeka. Full court pressure by Aquinas. Saints down by 12, 2.5 to play. They go to their money man. Miles across. He'll handle Much of the dribbling, I would imagine, here is they want him to be fouled. Combs gets knocked, no whistle. Now out to Lycett. Timmy on a dribbling exhibition, handing off to Miles. And now Miles is fouled by Huppy. And Isaac wanted a foul earlier. It says something to the official.
This makes breaking the double team look so easy.
Look at the shoulders on that young man. Guys put together, Doug.
Any question he's not big enough to be a 2?
I think I said he is big enough to be a 2, Doug.
Right.
Keep your headset on during the game and you hear what I say. And 1 out of 2. Give it back to STA. Need some threes to be put down.
Miege's doing a good job of forcing Aquinas to start their offense a little bit higher right now and really taking more time off the clock.
Inside man in traffic and 1.
I cannot believe he's a freshman. Really looking for man right now. Jordan Allison doing a good job of trying to find man on the inside. He's just very aggressive and strong with the basketball. Well ahead of his classification right now.
6'6" freshman, unlimited potential. Dad a police officer, mom a teacher. He's got great work ethic. Season high 16 against Miege at Miege. So he had a good ball game, back-to-back double figures game. He's got 11 in this one. Miles up that floor, handing off to Combs, and Allison with a slap on the arm, and free throws here for Combs.
And Miles will say, well, he's just throwing everybody away right now. He's just going to dribble up against everything. He could have easily passed it to Perini underneath the basket, but a very savvy play and kicking it out to take more time off.
How about Chris Combs, Doug? 17 in the ball game. Rick Zeke says he's the best shooter since he's been at Miege. He's been there 9 years, so they've had some pretty good shooters come through. But Combs is an emerging sophomore. He has 18. That ties a season high for him. Huppy from bonus distance. Off the mark. Perini had it for a moment. Now on the deck. Throws it out to Miles. One-on-one with Allison. Tries to get fancy. Allison with the steal.
Watch out.
Here comes Allison with a nice ball fake and finish. Jordan Allison with a paralyzing move and finish. Got to go back and see that one again.
And of course we will. You're right, he just got a little too fancy this time, tried to do a little too much, and Allison with some quick hands and keeping them active. He's got the big fella running with him. Good job by Perini to try to stop it, and an excellent move that time by Jordan Allison.
A good job by Perini.
Well, he was trying to stop that fake pass.
Strap. That's what Perini got.
Well, here, that's a very good fake that time. Perini. He had the ball if there was a pass. Very good move by Jordan Allison.
Mention his father is Rick Allison, former Pembroke Hill coach. Led Pembroke Hill to 3 state titles when the Rush brothers were there. He's now a PE teacher at Pembroke Hill, assistant coach here. Of course, he and his brother Mick teamed up on that 76 center team. They were co-Doreno Award winners that went 29-0. And they won the state championship. And I'm telling you, he is a great teacher, good counselor, good coach. And how tough, though, would it be to have your dad yelling at you all the time during a ball game, right from the courtside view? But you got coaches' sons everywhere. The Huppies, their dad is a former coach. Brendan has his father, Sean.
Oh, he's just breaking a double team again. Here comes another one.
And Miles will be fouled. Timmy Mulvaney, who is on the Miege sideline. His father's the former coach. But while we have a moment here, the Miege family was dealt some very bad news. Anthony Avila, who's one of the team managers, lost his father, Frank, this week. He died at the age of 45, and the Miege team and their fans would like to express their condolences to him, his mom, and the rest of the family on the passing of his father this week. Rick Zeke had a meeting with the team and told them about it, so kind of a tough day for Anthony Avila, losing his father at such a young age. Our thoughts and prayers with his family as we wrap this one up. Under a minute to play in your ball game. Miege by 10.
The Aquinas cannot get in their offense right now. Miege doing a very good job of putting a lot of pressure outside on the guards, especially Jordan Allison, who can't get the ball.
Here's Allison on the pull-up, short. Miles in traffic, has the rebound and is fouled.
You're not going to take that from him.
Too strong.
Foul against Allison, that would be his fifth.
Jordan Allison, a very good move inside of the paint right now, and he just tries to grab the ball from Isaac Miles. Nobody's doing that.
Keep your shirt on, young man.
He's had a difficult game. He just had a frustrating game. Not a game up to his caliber of ball.
As he fouls out. Finished with 5 points to the 5'10" sophomore. There'll be better days for that young man right there.
Oh, yeah.
Keep an eye on him. He'll be one of the top guards in the city before it's all said and done, folks. But right now, the man of the hour, maybe the top guard in the city, along with Marcus Walker, is Isaac Miles. And if you were able to watch the Hy-Vee shootout, that championship game between O'Hara and Miege, seeing Walker and Miles go at it was an absolute classic, man.
Yeah, it was a very good basketball game. And you're right, they went at it too. And Isaac Miles did a good job of getting the rest of his team involved in that basketball game also, while still dueling one-on-one.
Overtime win for O'Hara as Isaac Miles fouled out of that one, but finished with 30. Tata from downtown, no. Marini had the rebound, finding Isaac Miles. Isaac say, I'll take it up, and Isaac will draw the foul and shoot some more free throws. Nice foul on Huppy. And the fans from Miege going nuts because Timmy Mulvaney is checking in. And rightfully so, a young man that has battled a viral infection in his heart muscle, not able to play throughout the season. Something that strickens older people. He's a very popular senior, and he's going to check in after Miles goes for 30 at the foul stripe. 29 in the book for number 10. There comes Timmy. The fans go nuts. Weakened his heart, viral infection of his heart muscle. And I said, tough way to spend your season, your senior season. He said, yeah, but he's glad to be back out there. Father, the former coach, Tim Sr., he was the coach before Rick Zeke. So good to see Timmy Mulvaney back out wearing the uniform Miege. Isaac Miles, what a night. Cooper Smith puts it up and in. Miles, 1 point shy of his season high, has 30 tonight. Miege going to go to 12 and 8, 7 and 3 in the league. And now the steal. And the open floor, the layup is up and good. Devin Ahern, the junior, caps our scoring off on the night. But Miege down early, rallies on the road, and gets the 66-57 victory as part of our Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week. As we go to our play of the game, brought to you by your Kansas City Metro Farmers Insurance agent. Farmers Insurance can help you get things back where they once were. Contact your local agent for coverage that's right for you. Remember, Farmers get you back where you belong. And the guy getting Miege back Isaac Miles with a no-look feed to Manny Medina is our play of the game. Final score, 66-57. Huge night for Isaac Miles. 30 points, one below his season high as Miege rolls on the road, and they take the series 2-1 over their Catholic rivals, St. Thomas Aquinas. Back to wrap things up on the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week.
The High School Game of the Week is brought to you by Hy-Vee and their 20 Kansas City area employee-owned Hy-Vee locations. Farmers Insurance and their Kansas City Metro agents and district managers. Remember, farmers get you back where you belong. KC Bobcat. In Grandview, Blue Springs, Olathe, and Platte City. And by Speedway Auto Group. Visit us at speedwayautogroup.com.
Wrapping up the Hy-Vee High School Game of the Week, boys EKL action tonight. Miege rallies 66-57, and a huge night for number 10, Isaac Miles.
Well, there was a huge dose of Isaac Miles throughout the whole course of the basketball game, but the one thing that really brought him and his teammates back into the game is the one move by the coach going from a zone to a man-to-man at the end of the first quarter, which really changed the whole face of this basketball game.
Next week, it'll be Missouri State sectional ball, girls and boys games for you. Check the website on Monday for the game. Special thanks to the ADs, Sarah Burgess of Aquinas and Michael Hottie of Bishop Miege. Our producer, Steve Kurtenbach, for Doug Elston and our entire crew. Kevin White saying so long from St. Thomas Aquinas in Overland Park. Our final score, once again, 66-57. Good night, everybody.